Let's get us all set up here. Sorry about that. To type everything in first. Well, welcome to Morning Coffee with Maddog Merv. My chair has had a failure. One of the wheels broke off, so yeah, it doesn't wheel very well. Hope everyone's doing good. Hope that you got enough sleep with that hour less that we were given. Thank you for having daylight savings time. I love daylight savings time. It's standard time that I hate, because I like the light later in the day, not earlier in the morning. I could care less if it gets light at 4 a.m. So, anyway, welcome to Morning Coffee. I have this. Oh, and it's pretty darn good today. So, shout outs. We have a couple of them today. One of them is for Harry Houdini Models. Now, Harry is somebody that I've watched, for a couple of years now. He has some interesting things. Mostly I got into him because of his ships. But Harry is, he's an Aussie, which is wonderful. I have a few friends down under, a few viewers from down under. One of the most amazing people I ever worked with. Once she got married and started a family, they moved down under as well. And I keep in touch with her and her husband from time to time. So I feel like, I don't know, some of these folks from across the different ponds that I am acquainted with or I know, I really have a I don't want to say a kinship, but boy, I can't think of the word right now. But anyway, they're people that to me are very special. These folks that I associate with, and you, my viewers that are from either across Britain's pond, or or across Australian's lake, whatever you want to call that. Welcome, and I'm really glad that you folks tune in. So, Harry Houdini recently went through a move, like a lot of guys do. A lot of folks go through moves. It seems like YouTubers tend to go through them, every few years, and Harry's no exception. He was packing things up. He was getting his collection down a little bit, and then he was sharing with us all how to kind of pack up and move into a new space, and how to how to utilize that space to its greatest potential, type of thing. And he had some good tips in there, believe it or not, that I thought, wow, well, next time I need to do something out here in the doghouse, maybe I'll follow some of his advice. So anyway, check him out, Harry Houdini Models. And then the other shout out I wanted to give to was to this little company here called Hoplite Game Studio. Hoplite Game Studio. Enjoy 20% off retail pricing at hoplitegamestudios.com. And here's a little one of these things you can take a picture of. And anyway, Hoplite Game Studio. The reason I'm giving them a shout out is this. Recently, I ordered some lightning claws for a group of my army here, for one of my squads. And these were 3D printed. And he sent them to me. I thought that I was getting 3 sets. So a total of 6 claws is what I thought I was getting. Because I kind of tend to go off picture more than I actually read descriptions and stuff. So I thought I was getting 3, which was fine for me. 3 was fine. I open up the bag and there's 6 sets. So 12 claws total. I'm like, wow, that was kind of neat. But there was something else too. There's a little bag with a little teeny figure, little resin figure, and he's on the announcement that I made for this, for this live. And he's this cute little, I don't know what he is, not really a gnome. And he's not really, well, again, I don't know. But some kind of a gaming figure. It's 3D printed base, including the slot for a magnet. So I went ahead and magnetized him. Why not? But I had a lot of fun painting him up. And these pictures don't do him justice. He really, I'm really, really impressed with the sculpt, number one. And, practiced a few of my techniques on the paint job and kind of like how he turned out. So anyway, that Hoplite Game Studio. Yeah. Check them out. Pretty cool. I always like getting a little bit something extra that I didn't expect. Boy, what did we do on the channel last week, guys? Just the problem with being old and, losing your mind. What did we do? We looked at cars again. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay. So we looked at some more of my older builds, and I don't think I duplicated any this time. And as I was putting that together, I looked and, yeah, I've got enough for easily one more that we'll do in the future of some of these older builds. And these were builds that usually happened between about 2010 and 2016, 17, that period of time. One of the things I used to do a lot of is I would print out on my printer, and I would do this in Excel. So I'd get like a picture of an old Hot Rod magazine cover, and I would crop it, I'd put it into Excel, and I'd shrink it down along with a bunch of other stuff, and then I'd print it out. And that way I would have things like owner's manuals and magazines and all sorts of stuff that I could put into my cars, my car models. I also used to like to do the Utah State inspection sticker, because up until, and I can't remember when we quit doing that, sometime in the 90s, but all of the cars from the 60s, 70s, and 80s had them here in Utah. So if I do something that has a Utah license plate that's from that era, it's got to have the inspection sticker in the window. It's just one of those things. I would also print out some of the bumper stickers from the local radio stations. I'd find on eBay or whatever, I'd find pictures of them, and again, shrink them down and put them on in. So I did a lot of that kind of stuff. There's some of those car models that how can I put it? I'm really proud of, really like how they turned out. And then there's some that I look at them today and I know where my modeling is now, and I look back then and I go, wow, wow, what a difference in quality. But there was usually a reason behind different subjects, like that Bronco that I used to see most mornings at work. Our executive, she wasn't our executive secretary. She was the administrative assistant at the front door that you come in and first face you see. And she was really a neat lady, great sense of humor. And this was her husband's truck that he had for a million years. And I knew him. He had retired, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. But I remember when that Bronco was new and wasn't all rusty. And I thought, hey, I had this Bronco model. I thought it'd be a good subject to do. So why not? But those were some fun times. Most of those models now are gone. Most of them I no longer have, but I do have all those pictures. Because let's face it, I had hundreds of cars. I recently sold a bunch of my dragsters and funny cars that I had to make some room out here, because I'm trying to get this mess cleaned up. Sorry about that. Anyway, I hope that was something you guys liked. those slideshows, and I do a lot of slideshows. I don't do a lot of video. I do some video in with my slideshows usually, but I do a lot of slideshows. It's just because I'm old and that's the way I do things. So well, I hope you guys liked it. The Kid Hoarder Stash, that multi-Maverick, after seeing what Rats Live did to his, and he's got a couple that he's been working on. It's like, wow, that's really cool. So I want to try those same mods. And I'll probably make it into I'll probably get rid of that chassis altogether and go with a actual funny car chassis from that era. Well, not that era, but from the funny car models that I've got. Let's put it that way. I've still got a bunch of chassis, and I'll probably use one of those more modern chassis on there. We will see. I think it'd be a fun nostalgia car is what I think it would be. With that said, somebody had asked, what color are you going to paint it? That's a real good question. I had a few Mavericks in my day, and I had a few Comets in my day as well. Green, orange, light blue, medium blue. That was kind of it, for what I dealt. Oh, and brown, that metallic brown. That's kind of what I remember. Just about every Maverick I ever saw were those colors. You didn't see a gold Maverick. You sure as crap didn't see a silver Maverick. You didn't even have silver paint back then, I don't think. Sorry, I'm just not a fan of silver cars, by the way. Never did like that color much. I'm trying to think of what else. I think I saw like one red Comet one time, but very, very rare. So there was a couple of different oranges that they had. There was the light powdery baby blue, whatever you want to call it. I actually have a Comet model, and I may have done a show on it a while back where I painted it in this I can't remember the name of the color, but it's kind of a brownish color. It's a Ford color from '72. So I don't know. I really don't know what color I'm going to paint this yet. All I know is I've got to get going on the mods first. So it's going to take a while because I want to do it right. I want to make it look really good. So anyway, no Kid Hoarder Stash this upcoming week. Now on the show, the main show that we're going to have tomorrow, what are we going to do? Oh, I know what we're going to do. I'm going to have another history piece from the schools. And I say it apologetically because I know that a lot of you guys tune in for other things. And I really appreciate that. But, you guys also know that I'm a variety show. I'm kind of all over the board on things. And what spawned this is my son, who still works for the school district. He's a groundsman. He's one of the lead groundsmen over there at the school district. He was given an opportunity to run a grounds project last weekend, work a bunch of overtime, yay. And it was one of those things that's just critical to the sports of, because sports is king in these schools. Security is something they just give lip service to. They really do. Hope somebody from Salt Lake City School District is listening, because it is so true that they give lip service to security and safety. They try to make the public happy that way. But what's king is sports. Sports gets everything. And they are the priority. So he did this project, and he was put in charge of it. And I said, boy, this is a good opportunity for you, kiddo, because if you do well, you're going to impress the higher ups. They're going to say, wow, this is a guy we can depend on. But if you screw it up, you're done. So no pressure at all, kid. And that reminded me of a project that shortly after I became a supervisor. So, man, we're talking probably 18, 18, 19 years ago now. Um, there was a project of a building that I was given to clean out and make ready for whatever they were going to use it for. So I was given really no budget, but here you can have a couple of people to help you and, do what you need to do. You're in charge of it. You're the project manager. Great. What was supposed to take a couple of days took 2 weeks. What was supposed to take one big, huge 60-yard roll-off dumpster took close to 30. Yeah, it was quite the project. But anyway, the reason I bring that up is it was in a very historically important building. And I want to share that part with you guys tomorrow. This building used to be the old Greyhound bus shops many, 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 many moons ago. At some point, they decided to move to a different location, and when they did, the school district purchased they purchased this big. It's basically a huge garage with a few little offices in it. They purchased that and turned it into their shops. So that's where the maintenance trucks used to park, was indoors. That's where all of the maintenance departments had their separate bays and areas, things like that. And it very historically important here in Salt Lake City. So I'm gonna show that to you tomorrow. I'm gonna show you the a little bit of the history of the building, the little bit of the clean out that we did, and what the building looked like before and after type of thing. It's now been torn down. The district, for whatever reason, tore it down years ago, and it's just been a vacant lot for at least a decade now. But whatever, that's their property. They'll do with it whatever they want. Who knows what'll be there? But we're gonna do just a quick show on that historic building tomorrow. So there you go. What's been going on in the doghouse? Sorry, that's really good. What's been going on is, well, number one, good coffee. For Christmas, my family ganged up and bought a bunch of different coffees for me. Some from this one company called Black Rifle that I really enjoy. But there was some other coffees as well that they picked up and put in these decorative little things. Hey, good morning, Chris. How are you, my friend? Good to see you on here, buddy. Anyway, so I've got this little coffee bar set up out here, and man, Keurig does a good job, but this stuff is amazing. Okay, so this week I didn't make a lot of progress back here, as you can see. A lot of other things came up, and one of the things that I got involved in was my army. So here, we're gonna do this real quick. This is what the army is looking like. That's missing 1.5 squads, by the way, that are in the house that I've been working on in the evening. What I decided to do was reorganize some of my squads, because the way they come, the way Games Workshop has it, isn't it doesn't jive with what it's called the Codex, which is the book, basically the book of rules for the armies and how they should be set up and what they should wear and all that kind of stuff. But what comes from Games Workshop doesn't always jive with that. So, for example, the squads are supposed to be 10-man squads. Okay, I can relate to that, because World War II, you had 12-man squads. Oh, I bet you're making the most of it, Pete. Good morning, my friend. Well, good afternoon to you, my friend. Yeah, I wondered how nice and warm it is there. I know that here we've had some pretty cool weather. We had some rain earlier this week, which was great. I went out and fertilized the lawn and got some good rain. Did get a little bit of snow one day, but it lasted for a day. It was on the, I didn't have to shovel anything. It was on the grass. It was great. Some of my friends that live in this valley did have to shovel, but in this area, I didn't have to shovel. It was great. But today we're headed for about 55. The next few days we're going to be in the 60s. So it's that time of spring where, you know, ups and downs, which is fine as long as I don't get a lot of snow. I'm great. Beautiful sunshine. I've had sunshine for a couple of days now. We should have it for the rest of the week. So I'm glad you're enjoying it, Pete. That's awesome. As you guys know, that's one of the things I love is being out here. Bright and sunny and warm. Yeah, nice. Almost tea time for you, my friend. Which I still haven't done yet. I need to do that. I need to repent of my sinful ways and do that. I do. I really do. I'm not just saying that. I need to do that. I do have some good Earl Grey in the for my Keurig. I also have some Darjeeling, which is interesting. If you've ever, you guys have probably had Darjeeling. You open that up, it smells kind of like alfalfa. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Anyway, back to where I was before I, because I get sidetracked a lot these days with Games Workshop. So, for example, I got this group called the Hell Blasters, and we did a show on them on the unboxing, and there's like 10 of them in there. These guys carry these great big plasma rifles. They're great. They're very powerful. But a squad of 10 of them doesn't make any sense to me. Your Terminators, which are, you know, the veterans with the best armor, Terminators are guys who have, and here's my sergeant, my Terminator sergeant. They come in squads. I mean, they're supposed to be squads of 10 according to the codex, but when they come in the box, they come in either 3 or 5. And I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Well, financially, it makes sense to Games Workshop, because then if you want to be like me and be codex compliant, then you gotta buy a bunch. So anyway, I've been trying to mix up my squads and make them more realistic, if you will, more diversified, because I don't need 10 guys with a plasma cannon, okay, on the same squad. But I could use one in each of my 10 squads. That would be helpful. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I'm trying to do, is kind of get all of that changed up and correct where it needs to be. It's getting closer. As you can see there in the picture I showed you guys, they're all red. They mostly have gold helmets. I got to finish that up. So that's what I've been working on. My my big hang up with my cars right now is waiting for that darn Mustang 2 to come out. I know. It's one of those models I'm antsy to get, and of course it's the one that I'm really antsy to get, and it's not out yet. Several other things have come out from round 2 that I can recommend, because I've either built them or they just look really cool. One was that Blazer, that retooled Blazer that they've put out from Stranger Things. No, I have not picked one up yet. Will I own one? I'm sure I will. The Camaro that they put out from the movie, or from the show, is actually really a neat kit. I built that years ago, and yeah, it's in fact, it's one that you guys have probably seen in some of my videos, some of the openings and whatnot. There's this blue Camaro, particularly at the drive-in. If you go to the Facebook page for Maddog Merv, you'll see the banner in the back is the drive-in with all the model cars there. And one of them is that blue Camaro. I mean, good looking car. Anyway, probably won't get that one again. Don't need to. But the Blazer I'll probably wind up with. There is that, I think it's called Mo Power. It's a funny car. It's like a 73, 74 satellite funny car. And it's one I've wanted before. It's one I've never built. It's probably one that'll be in the collection sooner than later. But again, the one thing I want is this darn Mustang too, the Hell Drivers kit. Got a couple of them. No, I'm not going to build one stock. No. But definitely going to try to do the one that's on the box. That's the hot rod. The colors and everything on that look great. And I might even do a Hell Drivers kit. Who knows? We'll see. But I've got a couple of them on order. The Multi-Maverick, the reason I'm not real excited about that, I mean, I'm excited to get it, done and all that, but it's going to take a lot of modification. Hey, EC, how you doing, my friend? How's everything up there in Idaho? Cold and sunny, I bet. I bet. Because it's sunny and it's, well, as you can see, it's cold out here. Good thing I got the space heater working. Anyway, there's a couple of other car kits that are here that I'm also anxious to get working on that are a lot less of a project than the Multi-Maverick. Multi-Maverick's going to take me a while because it's a lot of surgery that I got to do to it. But there's a couple other car kits here in the stash that I want to get back to very soon. My problem is I got it. Oh, cold and sunny. Exactly. Yep. I'm doing well, buddy. Thank you. But I got to clean this, I got to get this mess cleaned up. And my goal is to try and have that done this week. We'll see how that goes. Because I've been trying for several weeks and different things come up in my world and interrupt me. So I don't get the progress done that I want to. So EC up in Idaho. Yeah. We're set to go into the mid 50s next day or so. I hope you guys are going to get some warmth up there as well. Chris, hope to see you at the Kit Links shindig that we have here I guess it's like the 22nd or something like that of this month. We'll be having the open house there. I don't know if you saw it or not, Chris, but I did something. I did something that's, well, I don't want to say it's out of character. So you guys got to understand there's two parts of me. There's the reactive part. There's the guy part. There's the, you see something, you're on it, you do it. No filters part of me. And then there's the part that was refined through being a supervisor at a school district that put a bunch of filters in place. Most of those filters are now gone. But one of the things that happened, and I've mentioned this to you, Chris, because you may have seen it, I have a good friend, Rob Humphreys. He's the world's most interesting modeler. If you haven't seen that installment of Maddog Merv from a couple of years ago, check out the world's most interesting modeler. Because I'll tell you what, Rob really is. He held the Guinness Book of World Records record at one time for the most built model airplanes. At one time, he held that. But he was scheduled to be a fighter pilot towards the end of Vietnam. When the war ended, of course, they didn't need all the fighter pilots that they were training, so he wound up. Even though he got his pilot's license, he had soloed, he had, done all the stuff in the trainer. He just had not moved on to the fighter jet yet. he was one of the guys that was surplused, wound up becoming a military policeman, and then continued that career when he got out. And he was distinguished career as a highway patrolman here in the state of Utah. And just an awesome guy, collector of a lot of kits. But everybody knows, everybody who's in the modeling world here in Utah knows Rob and knows what a great guy he is. There's not a bad bone in his body. I mean, really, he's one of those just absolutely salt of the earth type of people. He had put up a post on social media about going to the hobby shop and all the stuff that he bought there, and support your local hobby shops, blah blah blah. And he mentioned the name of Kit Links, and encouraged people to go there to the open house. There was a person from the group that was on this Facebook group who had an issue with Kit Links, and which is fine. If you have a beef with a business, that's your business. That's not the rest of the world's business, but it's your business. If there's a product or something that is not right or not made right, then yeah, a lot of times, and I've even done it, we'll take to social media and mention, hey, beware, I've not had a good experience at this place. And that was fine. That was fine that the guy said that. What wasn't fine is when Rob said, wow, I'm really sorry to hear about that. A lot of us have never had any issues with him, but I know that it can happen, blah blah blah. Well, this guy started to attack my friend Rob. Oh, you must be the owner. And he just goes on about what a rotten, terrible person he is and makes all sorts of assumptions. And my friend, restrained himself the best he could, comes back and says a few things like, you're very misinformed. Well, that wasn't going to cut it with me. That wasn't going to cut it. So I hopped on and chastised the person. I'm not even going to call him a gentleman. Chastised him greatly. Called him out. Says, look, if you've got a problem with that company, I know the owner. Go talk to him. In fact, come to the next open house. I'll introduce you to him. What it turns out is this guy's just a keyboard warrior from some other state, has nothing better to do than can't get out of his mom's basement long enough to get off the computer and complain about things. Anyway, so I need to apologize to that group for that. And nothing real bad was said. I just said, "Who the hell do you think you are?" It was about as bad as it was, but they definitely have taken it down since that whole thread. But anyway, sometimes I don't use my filters, especially when people attack my friends and people that I know are good and moral people. So again, people that have something to say, you have your opinion, that's fine and that's great. And in this country, we have very divided opinions, and it's really sad to see how it's going. Yeah, there is too many of those people out there, Rob. I saw a post recently about the city of Salt Lake and something that they did that goes against what the president has decreed. I like the way I put that, decreed, because it's looking more like a monarchy than it is or a dictatorship than in a lot of things aren't looking good. Let's just put it that way. The look of it, the way it's done, the way it's handled isn't looking good. And so it does inflame a lot of people that are on the other side. And I am a person that believes in listening to both sides. I rarely take a particular side because, again, I like to see what I value everyone's opinion, I guess is what I'm saying. You know, that's why I say, when you guys criticize me for anything, please feel free to do so. I don't know how to change and make things better unless somebody tells me, hey, you need to change this. You need to make it better. And that's something that, you know, I appreciate you doing. Don't just say I suck. Okay, that will get me mad. But if you say I suck, tell me why so I can change it, okay? So something recently was posted, and the local city mayor here went against something that was handed down. And the division in the comments was just amazing. I mean, the polarization, it wasn't even close. It was the polarization of comments were really bad. And that's the thing, is a lot of folks just don't take into consideration what all goes on, either behind the scenes, and sometimes there are just evil, nasty people out there that run companies or businesses or scammers. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that, buddy. Anyway, enough of that. But it's just one of those things that, I felt bad that the whole rest of the group had to be subjected to that whole thing. But by the same token, I had to draw the sword and say, look, buddy, I'm going to defend this guy. He doesn't need defending, but I'm going to defend him anyway. I'm going to stand with him because really, go and watch that. The World's Most Interesting Modeler. Look it up. Great guy. Not as articulate on camera as, he's not used to that. He's not a limelight kind of guy. Never was a limelight kind of guy. This was a guy who saved lives and was decorated by the state of Utah for it. And he didn't ask for any accolades, but they were given to him because they were well deserved, and that's just how Rob is. So anyway, modeling. Back to modeling. I didn't go to the train show a week ago. You guys know that. I've been looking through my train stuff. I'm going to be giving a bunch of my train stuff to my son-in-law so that he can build, when they get their new home, so that he can build basically a layout in the kids', well, whether it's the basement or upstairs, wherever it winds up being, but like a shelf layout through the kids' room. It's something that I always wanted to do, never could do here with my situation, but it's something that I think he'll be able to do. He's excited to do this. My grandkids love the trains, so I figured, why hold on to stuff that's been sitting in a box for years now? Why not get it out and get it used? Why wait until I'm gone to have someone else sell it to, no, let's get it out and get it used. So a bunch of my train stuff is going to be moving on. A bunch of it's going to be staying here. As far as the layout goes, I'm still planning on redoing this layout. I have to find a place for all my paints, because you guys have seen I've got a ton of paint, and it's now where I can use it, where I can get to it. I like this setup, but again, I need to be able to figure out how to run a train in here as well. And this is a small space, so I'm very limited on what I can do. My storage space, I don't have a lot of storage space, and right now it's being taken up by a bunch of half-built model kits. There's these big ships back here that I need to find a home for. I've got a home for 2 of the 4 right now. Yay. But I still got to find more. I've got that Millennium Falcon I need to bring in. It's here, but I got to be able to put it in here so I can work on it. There's just a lot of stuff. All you modelers know how that struggle is. You got, I'm sure you got some models with 15, 20 years of dust on them. It's nice to be able to look at them. I'm trying to get past that. I have to have it physically here. I've got video of it, or I've got pictures of it. Oh, pizza and box train layout on Saturday, huh? I will have the grandkids. They'll be here, so maybe we'll go out there. That would be a lot of fun for them. MRS Hobbies in Sandy, they do every month they have some kind of an activity, and quite often they'll do this. It's called a pizza box layout. Little layout you do in a pizza box, basically. Great for kids to learn how. It's a hands-on activity they have. I think it would be absolutely awesome to take them out to that. But thanks to MRS for doing that kind of stuff. And then they have their customer appreciation and model contest usually every month, where they'll pick a subject, whether it's figures, cars, tanks, airplanes, whatever, and do a customer appreciation, free pizza and drinks, and a little mini contest. It's really fun. You guys have seen me out there a couple of times, and done a couple of shows from there. How wonderful to have a hobby shop that does that kind of stuff. We are fortunate living here that we have places like Kit Links and places like MRS that we can go to and fulfill a lot of our modeling needs, if you will. We are very fortunate that way. For those who have to go through mail order, MRS does mail order as well. Kit Links is, they're one of the, I don't want to say one of the real big ones, but they're one of the main players online in the hobby industry. There's there's a lot to be said for getting your models online, and I do too sometimes. A lot of my game workshop stuff comes from online. Some of the car kits, it just kind of depends on the deal I can get. Mostly it's not about the pricing here. The local hobby shops offer a 10% discount for IPMS members, so that's helpful. For me, it's more about the overall total cost and the amount of time it takes. So if I need parts for these guys, how long is it going to take me to get those parts, and how much is the shipping going to be? That's one of the big problems I have. Is I'll find some really neat parts online, or I'll find a real neat something online, and quite often with the Games Workshop stuff, it's across Britain's pond, and the cost of the shipping, unfortunately, is more than the cost of the part. And so for me, it's kind of prohibitive. I'm like, no, I'm not going to spend $30 for something that should cost me $15. And I get shipping and mail, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I just don't have a lot of tolerance for that. I really don't. Usually, and just the way I do things, I'll pick free shipping, or be a part of Amazon and Amazon Prime, and I get free shipping. I'm just not into spending a lot of money on shipping. I'll just put it that way. So getting my kits online all depends on kind of what the overall cost is going to be. I have a good friend that buys stuff all the time online. He'll get it and he'll shop the price. So for this figure online, the cost is, let's say $10. For this figure online, or not online, but at the local hobby shop or whatever, it's $9. So he'll take the one for $9. but then, but then he has to pay tax and all that other stuff. Well, depending on the shipping cost. So my big beef is with companies like Squadron and some others out there that have certain rates to their shipping, and over X number of dollars you get for over 100 and something. Well, I'm not spending 100 and something dollars, so I'm not going to get free shipping, obviously. But you'll spend a lot of money on shipping. You add that into the cost, plus now a lot of stuff online you pay the tax, and the overall cost winds up being more than if I just went to the local hobby shop. So, oh, Hornby Retailer of the Year. That's cool. Oh, nice. I'm glad you use Evergreen, by the way, Pete. There's that other one, Plastistruct, out there that I was introduced to early on when I went working for Douglas Models. And Plastistruct, I could never figure out because it wouldn't glue. I mean, it was just weird plastic. And Evergreen, it was like, la! It was the greatest stuff ever. So that's one of the problems I'm running into, by the way, in here, is I've got all of this Evergreen scraps. My friend has it still in the green, sleeve, and he has them in a box, which you just go through and you find the size. Great. Mine aren't organized like that. Mine are thrown in a box, and that's kind of the problem, is where am I going to put, because I don't have a drawer to put it in. But see, I got all these scraps, but where do you put it? If I had a drawer, then I'd have to have one that's at least this wide available. So I need to clean out one of these drawers down here. Then I can put just all my plastic, because this is one of several boxes I've got of Evergreen styrene. But anyway, that's one of the other things I got to do. My cleaning and organizing has got to be this whole place, and that's why it's taken so much time. But glad to see you use Evergreen, and looks like you've got a pretty decent train shop there by you, Pete. That's neat. We used to have a place here in Denver, Colorado, called Caboose Hobbies, and it was like the train store in the world. I know there's some great train stores out there, but definitely I would say the one in the US. It was huge. It had everything. They had all sorts of neat displays. They had several running trains on display, and that's where I found probably the neatest one that I've ever seen. Personally, I haven't been to that miniature world in Germany, but this one was really neat. It was a layout that was, I don't know, it's probably 8 by 10. But the way it was set up, you had city, you had mountains, you had streams, you had all sorts of stuff. But it wasn't necessarily about the train. The train was just snaking through things, and that was kind of fun. What the fun part is looking at this train board, and the theme was there was a zoo, and that zoo was really cool. But obviously the monkey cage had been broken open. Something had happened, and you could obviously see where the monkey enclosure was. That had been breached. The monkeys were everywhere. And your task was to try and find all the monkeys. So you'd look around through the town and see the different piece of mischief that the different monkeys were getting into. And I thought that was the neatest thing ever. And so in my builds, that's what I've incorporated into the Polar Express. I incorporated it into that Halloween layout that I did. It was neat to have a hobby shop like that. And it wasn't close. I mean, Denver's not close, but I'd go to Denver every once in a while, and I'd always stop by Caboose. They shut down, went out of business. Some local guys got them back. Okay. Um, oh, me help somebody stay sane? Well, wait, one. Thank you for the compliment. Me help someone stay sane? Oh my God, my friend, you're in trouble. But thank you, and I'm sorry you've been sick. Yeah, I'm feeling much better. As you guys know, most of January, part of February, I was sick, and first time in years, since COVID, pretty much. I'd have a couple of little things here and there, but I mean, really sick, first time since COVID, and thank goodness I never got that. Knock on wood. Well, especially back then when it was, yeah, when it was a different ball game. But thank you for that compliment. Uh, Pete, I'm glad you're organized. I hold on to every little scrap, even the little pieces. I use them for all sorts of stuff. But I'm not as, because I've got so much stuff. I mean, remember, I got crafting stuff here. So yesterday, show you yesterday's project. Okay. Uh, it's time to decorate. I get out the St. Patrick's Day stuff, and I'll have to show you that stuff next week. That'll be fun. I'll show you what's going on in the yard and all that. So I get, and apparently last year, or year before, my dog, well, it had to be last year, my dog chewed up this sign right before I put it in the tub. Well, that's not going to cut it. I got to fix that. So yesterday, I remade the sign, and I just used this paint stir. Yeah. So I did that last night. Actually, that was my project last evening. So as you guys know, I got a lot of crafting stuff here. I got all sorts of stuff. So I got an area with craft paints. I got an area with these little acrylics. Got an area over here with my enamels. My scenery stuff is back here behind the Guam. I've just got so much stuff, like a lot of you guys do, but I don't know. I just tend to have. I think I got more variety because I've built so much weird stuff. But it's good that you're organized, Pete. Pets do make life interesting. Unfortunately, they ruined my backyard. But no, I appreciate my dogs. They are great companions. They're funny, and sometimes they're a pain in the neck. But two things I don't have, just so you guys know. If you ever want to come over to Merv's house and just walk on in, break on in, go for it. I don't lock my front door. I don't think I need to. Because if somebody comes to the front door or back door, whatever, they're going to hear the doorbell. The 4 pooches. Sometimes 6 pooches. And if they're crazy enough to walk through that door without me being there, God help them. The healer is not friendly towards strange people. None of them are really all that friendly. Well, Gypsy, she just wants people to love her. So, but she'll jump up on you and knock you down, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I don't lock the front door. No big secret. And the other thing, Chris, is I got this great doorbell. So if I'm in the backyard in the studio here, if I'm downstairs, wherever I'm at, somebody comes around, my doorbell goes off and I can hear them. So I know that there's somebody here. Yes, I'm getting a Ring camera set up. My son-in-law is helping me get that taken care of, so that when the dogs do go off, then I just got to check my phone and I can watch, whatever delivery I'm getting or whatever's going on out front. So, yeah, dogs, well, I'm not a cat person. Sorry, guys. For those of you who are, cats definitely have a personality. I've had a few, but I'm not a cat person. Sorry. But anyway, these guys are, I wouldn't want to do it without them. Put the camera on the dogs. Well, I don't know where Cruella went. She's here somewhere. She's been running around outside, waiting for me to play ball, I think. I think the other guys are in the house. I let them all out this morning for a potty break. Okay. Side note. You know the rumor about, girls always go to the bathroom in groups, right? Okay, that used to be one of the things we used to say in, high school and, all through the years was, yeah, these girls are going packs. They go to, all go to the bathroom at once. I got 3 female dogs. Whichever one comes out here and uses the potty first, the other 2 line up right behind her and go, oh, hey, this must be a good spot. So they have to use that same spot. I'm like, what? What? I don't know. Anyway, sorry. I digress from all that. I lost my train of thought. My train just derailed, so I do apologize, guys. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to get some painting done. I got some work I got to get done out here in the doghouse, but this was a lot of fun. And let me just tell you guys, every once in a while, and I see Pete do it. I even saw my friend Rob Humphreys do it. Got out of their comfort zone. And I know that Pete used to be into armor a lot before he started this channel, this great channel where he does custom work on model cars. Again, if you haven't checked out Pete's Model Cars Customs, please do. He's entertaining, much more so than me, but he's also very talented with his model building. But he pulled out a figure a while back and did an excellent job, by the way. My friend Rob, who is a plane builder, prolific, held the Guinness Book of World Records for number of built model airplanes. The other day, he built a car model. You're right, Pete, it wouldn't. Yeah, he built a car model. I'm like, are you sure you know how to do this, Rob? You sure? Because they're different. The paint's completely different. It's really good is what I'm trying to get at. To get out of your comfort zone from time to time and just do something a little different. This was one of those fun little projects, a little resin guy that took, I don't know, maybe 3 hours total to do. Very simple, just 2 colors of blue for the top, brown for the pants, and then this kind of a tan for the hat. Of course, the red beard. My son Kyle has a beard very similar to this, so that's why I painted it that same color, reddish brown. But this was the one I wanted to try out some of the techniques, some of the shading, some of the highlights. When you look at it under a microscope real close, you can see the brush strokes, and it's not all that cool. From a distance, with the highlights and stuff, he doesn't look too bad in the low lights. So, yeah, kind of, it's just fun to get into something else for a short period of time. And you know what? That's why on this channel, I jump around to so many different things. Because, yes, I used to have a long attention span. I could build that USS Utah from scratch that took a year of my life. Focused on doing just that. I can't do that anymore. About 2 weeks is as long as I've got an attention span on a model anymore. The Warhammer is a little different because there's a lot of variety into what I'm doing here. But anyway, I encourage you guys, if you haven't gotten out of your comfort zone on some modeling lately, please do so. And if you can support your local hobby shop, like I've said before, support your local hobby shop. If you do have a dispute with them, please take it up with them. There's enough garbage on social media. And there's reactionary people like me. Oh yeah, you know what? I built that many years ago. Those old Lindbergh kits. They were bad back then. Back then when you used tube glue and you had to use elastics to hold everything together. And then the glue would squeeze out onto the elastic and mar up your model. Oh gosh, those were the days. I still maintain that this year, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get out my tube glue and I'm going to build an old nostalgic kit just to relive the old days. I even have some Pactra paint here. Check this out. Okay, guys, here you go. Oh, wow. 35 cents. This must be this must be right before they closed shop. 35 cents for this bottle of Pactra paint. But I'm gonna do this. Oh, if that doesn't take you back to when you were 12 years old, it's still kind of viable too. Believe it or not, after this got to be, I don't know, 40, 50 years old. When did Pactra, as far as these kind of paints, when did they close shop? Wasn't it in the late 80s, early 90s? Yeah, 35 cents. I remember when they used to say 19 cents on them, but oh, that smell. Yeah, that takes me back. Thanks to the EPA and all the laws and all this other cool stuff that we have. We don't have those great smells anymore. But that will take you back, guaranteed. That's like, wow, now I remember what it was like when I was 12. This was fun. Maybe that's why it was fun, because we got to, sniff all those cool fumes back then. I don't know. Anyway, guys, I've kept you long enough. It's been over an hour. Thank you for joining us today. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys have an amazing week. And if you feel so inclined, check out this history piece tomorrow on the old bus station that became the Board of Education shops, and kind of the, funny stuff we did with that. Chris, you have a great day too, my friend. And Pete, Chris, Idaho, all you guys that have tuned in, please have a wonderful week and enjoy the early spring, and just enjoy life and enjoy some modeling. So take care, you guys. Bye-bye. Check out Harry.